Some people decide they dislike you before you've even said a word. Have you ever noticed that? No argument, no betrayal, no real conflict. And yet, the tension is there. The cold tone, the forced smile, the strange distance, the subtle disrespect that appears for no clear reason. The strange thing about people is, hatred is not always born from what you do. Sometimes, it's born from what your presence makes them feel. I am the Watcher, and here, in Shadow Insight, we observe the hidden mechanisms behind human behavior. Because most people never realize that certain individuals will resent you long before they truly know you. Not because you attacked them, not because you harmed them, but because something about you silently confronts something inside them. And the unsettling part is that many of these people will never consciously understand why they dislike you. Watch carefully, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why some people become uncomfortable around certain individuals, even when those individuals did absolutely nothing wrong. And once you see it, you'll start recognizing these invisible dynamics everywhere. If you've ever experienced unexplained hostility, silent resentment, or strange reactions from people you barely know, subscribe to Shadow Insight and tell me in the comments, have you ever felt that someone disliked you before they even had a reason to? At first, it rarely looks like hatred. That's what makes it difficult to recognize. It often begins with small things. Someone interrupts you more than others. They avoid acknowledging your ideas. They become strangely cold after seeing you succeed. They act polite in public, but distant in private. Have you ever wondered why certain people change their behavior around you so suddenly? Especially after you receive attention, you gain confidence, you improve your appearance, or simply start feeling more comfortable with yourself? Human nature always reveals itself eventually, and one of the first signs of hidden resentment is inconsistency. A person smiles at you one day, then competes with you the next. They support you publicly, but quietly minimize you when you are not there. The strange thing is, many people are not reacting to your actions. They are reacting to what you represent in their mind. For example, a quiet person can trigger insecure people without even trying. Why? Because calmness is often interpreted as superiority. Someone disciplined can unintentionally irritate people who constantly avoid responsibility. Someone attractive can provoke resentment in people obsessed with comparison. Someone authentic can disturb people who built their entire personality around social approval. And most of the time, none of this is spoken openly. It appears through subtle behaviors, passive-aggressive jokes, dismissive comments disguised as humor, lack of enthusiasm when good things happen to you, awkward silence when others praise you. Have you ever noticed how some people become uncomfortable the moment attention moves towards someone else? That discomfort matters more than people think, because hidden emotions leak through behavior long before words reveal them. Watch carefully. People often expose their resentment in the moments where they should naturally feel happy for you, but somehow cannot. Most people believe hatred comes from logic, but human emotions are rarely that rational. Very often, people dislike others because of unresolved emotions they carry inside themselves. Jung believed that people tend to reject in others the parts of themselves they cannot accept internally. And once you begin observing human behavior carefully, you see this mechanism everywhere. A person insecure about their intelligence may secretly resent someone articulate. A person ashamed of their lack of discipline may become irritated by someone consistent. A person who feels invisible may develop hostility towards someone naturally noticed by others. Not because the other person did something wrong, but because their existence unintentionally exposes an internal wound. That is why some reactions seem disproportionate. Have you ever wondered why certain people become emotionally reactive around individuals who remain calm? Because calmness can feel threatening to chaotic minds. It silently reminds them of what they cannot control within themselves. Adler often spoke about inferiority feelings. And the strange thing about inferiority is that many people hide it behind criticism, arrogance, mockery, or hostility. Some people attack what they secretly admire. Others try to diminish what makes them feel small. And many do it unconsciously. Watch carefully. People rarely say, "You make me feel insecure." Instead, they say, You think you're better than everyone. That sentence alone reveals countless hidden frustrations. Because sometimes, confidence is interpreted as arrogance by those who abandoned their own self-worth long ago. The unsettling truth is that your presence can become a psychological mirror for other people, and mirrors are dangerous. Not because they create flaws, but because they reveal them. That is why some individuals feel immediate discomfort around people who embody traits they secretly wish they possessed. Discipline, confidence, freedom, emotional control, authenticity, social ease. The more a person suppresses their own frustrations, the more violently they may react to someone who naturally expresses what they lack. And the disturbing part is that many people will convince themselves that their resentment is morally justified. Because the human mind prefers creating explanations rather than confronting uncomfortable emotions. But there is an even darker layer behind this. Sometimes, people do not hate you because you are cruel, arrogant, or dangerous. They hate you because your existence disrupts invisible hierarchies. Have you ever noticed how certain environments become uncomfortable the moment one person starts evolving? A friend becomes more confident. A coworker becomes more respected. Someone who used to stay quiet suddenly develops boundaries, and almost immediately, subtle resistance appears. Because human groups often function through unspoken power structures, everyone is unconsciously assigned a role: the insecure one, the funny one, the weak one, the helper, the follower, the invisible one. And the moment someone begins escaping the role others became comfortable with, tension emerges. Why? Because many relationships are not built on love. They are built on emotional balance. A balance where everyone unconsciously knows their position. Nietzsche observed something disturbing about human nature. People do not only seek connection, they also seek psychological superiority. That is why some individuals feel safer around people who struggle. It reassures them. It protects their ego. But when the person they quietly underestimated begins growing, resentment appears. Watch carefully. Some people support your dreams only as long as they believe you will never truly succeed. The moment success becomes real, their energy changes. Their compliments become weaker. Their enthusiasm disappears. Their criticism becomes sharper. And suddenly, they start noticing flaws they ignored before. The strange thing about jealousy is that it rarely presents itself honestly. Very few people say, "I resent your growth." Instead, they become colder, more sarcastic, more distant, or they begin searching for reasons to justify their discomfort. This is why unexplained hatred often intensifies after transformation, after weight loss, after success, after confidence, after healing, after attention from others. Because growth changes social dynamics, and some people were emotionally attached to the version of you that felt less threatening. The unsettling truth is that certain individuals only feel comfortable around you when they believe they stand above you psychologically. The moment that perception collapses, their behavior changes. Not always consciously, but human nature always reveals itself eventually. Now comes the uncomfortable question. What if this has happened to you, more than you realize? Not only as the person being disliked, but also as the person silently reacting to others. Watch carefully. Human beings constantly compare themselves, even when they pretend not to. A stranger walks into a room with confidence, and suddenly people observe them differently. Someone speaks with emotional control, and others become defensive without understanding why. A person receives admiration, and invisible competition quietly begins. Most people never realize how much of their social behavior is driven by comparison. Not truth, not morality, comparison. Have you ever felt irrational irritation towards someone who technically did nothing wrong? Someone whose presence alone created discomfort? That feeling matters, because sometimes the people we react to most intensely are simply reflecting parts of ourselves we have not fully confronted. The ambitious person may remind us of our procrastination. The disciplined person may expose our lack of consistency. The emotionally free person may reveal how trapped we secretly feel. And this is where human nature becomes deeply uncomfortable, because many people prefer protecting their ego rather than questioning their emotions honestly. It is easier to label someone arrogant than admit their confidence intimidates you. It is easier to call someone fake than accept that their authenticity exposes your own performance. It is easier to criticize someone successful than confront the fear that you stopped believing in yourself years ago. The strange thing about resentment is that it often says more about the observer than the target. And once you understand this, many social interactions begin making sense. The cold reactions, the unexplained tension, the subtle hostility, the strange negativity that appears without obvious cause. Not all hatred comes from evil. Sometimes, it comes from unresolved insecurity colliding with silent comparison. And the disturbing part is this: most people will never admit it. So, why do some people hate you for no reason? Because in reality, it is often not about you. It is about what your presence awakens inside them. Sometimes you remind people of what they failed to become. Sometimes your confidence exposes their insecurity. Sometimes your growth disrupts the invisible balance they felt comfortable with. And sometimes, people resent those who force them to confront emotions they spend their entire lives avoiding. That is the hidden mechanism most people never see. Hatred is not always born from cruelty. Very often, it is born from comparison, insecurity, wounded pride, silent envy, or unconscious projection. The unsettling truth is that many individuals will create negative stories about you simply to protect their own ego from discomfort. And once you understand this, you stop taking every hostile reaction personally. You begin observing instead, watching, analyzing, because human nature always reveals itself eventually. But there is another side to this realization, a dangerous one. The moment you understand that people project their insecurities onto others, you also begin asking yourself a deeper question. How many of your own judgments were never truly objective either? How many people did you quietly resent simply because they reflected something unresolved inside you? That is where real self-awareness begins. Not when you understand others, but when you start recognizing the hidden mechanisms inside yourself. I am the Watcher, and this is Shadow Insight. If this video made you reflect differently on human behavior, subscribe, leave a like, and share your thoughts below. Because the people who disturb us the most are often the ones revealing truths we were never ready to face. But then, what does it say about someone when your existence alone makes them uncomfortable?